Okay, well, now it's time for a little segment I like to call Off the Topic. And basically I'm going to hit you with headlines I've seen recently and get your thoughts on it off the top. So, it's off the top and it's also off topic because it's
right.
Off the topic of what we're talking
You
about.
Seem real proud.
Get it right.
You seem real proud of it.
I was quite proud of that.
Yeah, bars, wordplay. You hit them with lyricism there.
I had to.
Yeah.
You know, we're lyricists.
No doubt.
But I got my trusted tablet here, so let's see. The first one I have here, this is a good one. NASA announces UAP study, unidentified aerial phenomena, as they like to say now.
I saw that headline.
Yeah?
I saw that headline.
What's your thoughts? They put together a whole team. They're gonna investigate over 9 months. They're gonna release the report in mid-2023, and it's gonna lay the groundwork for future studies.
Oh, is that right? Is that right? I mean, this sounds mad familiar. It sounds so familiar. We were talking about this last year. It wasn't NASA.
No.
It was the Pentagon. But they did the same thing. They put a team together. They did their investigation, and then they released their report. And that report was so disappointed.
Yeah.
It was so disappointing because they provided an explanation for, was it one out of
144 reports or something like that.
So think about that. That means there's a bunch of things flying out there and they're saying we have no idea what they are.
You know what cracked me up about reading the article on the NASA website? They were like, investigating news is important, for air safety and national security.
Yeah, national
security. And I'm like, you really expect us to believe you've never looked into these. It's just now in 2022.
Exactly.
Airspace safety. We should look into it.
We should look into that. But the thing about it is, that's the thing, because we have to really see. It's like you said with the Pentagon report only providing an explanation for 1 out of 144. Once they start throwing terms around like national security, that's usually laying the groundwork for them not to say things. And we can't really tell you that because national security. So we're really going to have to see what it is that they're going to do as far as this report goes. I mean, now it's NASA, before it's the Pentagon. But like I said, I was mad disappointed in that report. It's like 1 out of 144. So let's see what NASA do. But when you look into NASA anyway, if you in terms of what exactly they do, and you go onto their website and stuff, you'll see that they've long ago put out there that they've discovered planets in what they call the habitable zone, which is where they look at the planet and they'll look at the distance it is from its closest star, the size of that star, and they'll determine that, okay, on this planet, the temperature is right for liquid water. Right. And if you can have liquid water, you can have life, or at least a type of life that we're used to seeing here on Earth. So they've long ago, they said, you go on their website and you'll see examples. In fact, I was reading an article the other day where they was like, scientists were like, yeah, we've discovered another couple of planets that we think can house life. I don't think that was NASA, but scientists. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. So, go on NASA's website, Kepler 22b, I think they've called one. Kepler 452b, that's the last 2 ones I've seen, where they're saying, yeah, these planets right here, they look right for water and life and so on and so forth. So little tricklets have leaked out of what they're saying is possible in the universe. And when you look at the size of the universe anyway, you understand that it's highly unlikely that it's only right here on Earth that life exists. It's just highly unlikely. We've been through this. So I guess we'll see. I guess with NASA, we won't find out until they put out the report.
They're not like releasing anything surrounding the report until it gets released in mid-2023. And apparently it's only studying unclassified data. It's only looking into whatever's classified is not getting investigated.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So when you see terms like national security, that's what I'm saying. It lays the groundwork for that. But we really won't know what they're going to say. Obviously, they're going to want to control the information. We don't know what they're going to say until the report comes out. What we do know is that in this day and time, these big organizations, governments, etc., are going to have to start to reveal certain things anyway, because it's going to become obvious and evident, if it isn't already, that extraterrestrials exist. And we said it on episode 1.
We did.
Acknowledging the existence of extraterrestrials is step 1.
That's step 1.
It's step 1. That's only step 1. You want to get into the influence and role they have on the planet today. And I'm saying there's a lot of people out there who might be labeled conspiracy theorists, who are looking into, how does the world really work? Who runs the world? Is it the Illuminati? Who are the puppets? Who are the puppet masters, etc.? What's really going on? And if you're one of those people, you're missing too big a chunk of the picture to complete your analysis if you haven't looked into extraterrestrials and aliens. You're missing too big a chunk of the picture to complete your analysis if you haven't looked into extraterrestrials and aliens, because the role and influence they've played on civilizations past and present is too big. The role that they play today, the reason that certain people and certain different types of people are even on the planet today, why were they seeded or grafted, so on and so forth. So this planet has long ago been an extraterrestrial plan, hence Plan ET, an extraterrestrial plan. And so acknowledging their existence, that's baby steps. But hopefully we can get there. I wouldn't be relying on any report from NASA though. I wouldn't be waiting. Let me see.
Get us there.
Let me see what they're going to say. 2023, I'll get my answers. I wouldn't. You have to start to look into things. And there's long ago been evidence of extraterrestrial or alien activity. I mean, look at this, for example, and we've spoken about this before. You have structures or objects around the globe lined up with star systems over 1,000 light years away. Pyramids of Giza lined up with Orion's constellation. Nabta Playa lined up with Orion's constellation. The question is why? You know, we spoke about that print that you can find online of George Washington, the so-called first president of the United States.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and the print is easily just search it out. And on the print, first of all, you see George Washington in his Masonic attire. That's a different thing. And on the picture, on one side of him, you see the Pleiades star constellation. On the other side, you see a ladder going up to what appears to be a craft in the sky. Right? Do some research into that. You'll find that's a representation of Jacob's ladder, which takes us to the Bible. Genesis 28, I think it's verse 12, which is that quote that people might be familiar with about the angels of God ascending and descending above the ladder that leads to the heavens and so on and so forth. So you look into that and you realize, oh, that God in the sky was a craft, which is why you find versions of the Bible that are illustrated where God clearly appears as a craft in the sky. So the evidence has long been there. Those two constellations I've mentioned, Orion and Pleiades, are both mentioned in the Bible.
Right.
In fact, the Greek word for heaven is Oranos, which has roots in Orion or vice versa. So the evidence has been there. And when you think about the Bible being largely a compilation of older texts or having a lot of relation to older texts, you'll see that the evidence has long ago been there for these star systems playing a role in the different people and the different types of people we see on the planet today. And we spoke about that. The reason that you have different sets of people with different cultures paying reverence to a different set of deities, or deity, singular, is because you had different extraterrestrials come from different star systems with their own, either seeding people on the planet or grafting people with their own creations. And we've broken that down. We have several books that go into this and explain this. So the reason that George Washington had the Pleiades star constellation is because the Pleiadians, which is actually a set of extraterrestrials that are becoming more and more popular online. If you research, people have looked into them, and it's not like they're unknown. Pleiadians, Anunnaki as well.
Yeah, you do. In the online space, you'd be hearing about
it, yeah.
In podcasts, videos.
It's common now. It's common knowledge. And the Pleiadians are responsible for the creation of the Caucasian race. Hence that when you go into the Bible, let us make man in our image and likeness. Okay? Exactly. But there are different images around the planet of man, different types of man, different looking people. So who were they referring to when they said that? Because we don't all look the same. That's just the reality.
Exactly. So
and there's just so many things you dive into. You dive into Adam and the actual meaning of the word, Hebrew Strong's 119, I think it is, and you see terms like red, ruddy, flush, and so on and so forth. And not all people go red like that. We don't go red.
I don't.
It's too melanated. That's just the reality. So
it's just the reality.
It's just the reality. So, and we spoke, we laid it out, we've explained it. There's several books that we have that explain this on what I'm speaking about. 18+1 is a good book, but explain that you had different sets of extraterrestrials that came at different times with their different plans and seeded different people or created different people on the planet, which is why you have these different people around the world. So that's a reality. And yeah, I've gone off on one a little bit, but NASA putting together their little team to investigate the UAPs is no surprise, really. There's been a lot of sightings recently because of the day and time that we're in. So there's a lot, whether it's government officials, Navy pilots, or just civilians with their mobile phones, looking up in the sky and seeing something that don't quite look right. And so NASA, like, yeah, we're going to look into it.
we're gonna give you the answers.
I'll give you the answers. Nah, don't wait around for that report would be my advice. But it's no surprise that that's happened, because you're just seeing more and more publicity with these types of things now. And like I said, it's going to become very difficult to deny. It's going to become very difficult to deny. So now they're going to try and control the information and the way they put it out. But if you're waiting around for a report, then you're already behind, because we're already behind. Acknowledging their existence is just about step one. You have to look and try and go behind the scenes. Okay, what role have how many different sets of extraterrestrials have played a role on the planet? You know? So when you talk about the pyramids of Giza lining up with Orion's constellation, that's because our ancestors as Africans came from these constellations, Orion and Sirius, which obviously Baba Yanun has broken down for us. So yeah, an interesting headline. I saw it and I chuckled a little bit. But with that being said, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't, go onto these NASA websites and see what they're saying, at least.
Yeah.
And then draw your own conclusions. But do your investigations beyond them, beyond the major mainstream organizations. You're gonna have to dive in a bit to find actual answers to this conundrum. But yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.